I'm going to show you how I did this hyper-realistic M&M packet in Ohuhu alcohol markers and colored pencil. If you are new here, my name is Moreus, and I create art tutorials that are fun, easy, and accessible for everyone. I would be forever grateful if you would subscribe to my channel. Leave me a comment below, I subscribed, and I'll be sure to get back to each and every one of you. I love hearing from you guys, and it makes me feel closer to you. So please smash that like button, leave me a comment, and enjoy the video. For this project, I'll be using the Ohuhu alcohol markers and Polychromos colored pencils on a Strathmore Bristol 400 hot press smooth paper. The very first thing you want to consider when you're going to do a hyper-realistic drawing is you want to have a really high quality reference photo. Now, I take my own reference photos in most cases, and you want something that has high contrast. So you want something that has a really bright highlight and some deep dark shadows. And this way you get a really cool 3D effect when you're done your drawing. I've drawn my sketch in a yellow color pencil, and this way my graphite marks don't show up. The yellow is just going to blend in with the background of the packet, and I won't have to worry about any of those lines showing through my marker or my colored pencil. So the second thing I do after I've got my reference image and my sketch is I go ahead and I sample out all of my markers and colored pencils that I'm going to be using for the project. And the reason for this is you want to be able to just sit down and draw when you're ready. You don't want to have to keep going back in your set and looking for the perfect color. This way you've got it all mapped out before you even start the drawing. And this is also really important with the alcohol markers because the barrel of the marker and the tip of the marker are not going to show you the color that it's actually going to come out of that marker. So I also find that when you are putting it down, it looks one way, and then when it dries, it looks different. So this way you're sure to get the perfect color because you swatch them out ahead of time, and you put the number down next to it so you can look at the barrel and know that you're getting exactly the right color that you're looking for before you even go ahead and put down the wrong thing on the paper. So now I'm going in and I'm color mapping with my markers, and I'm just representing where each of those colors are. We're not too worried about all of the details at this stage. We're just kind of mapping in those colors and giving us a good roadmap for the drawing so we don't get lost as we're going along. We're going to put our details in with nice sharp color pencils, which you have pre-sharpened, and again have picked out all your colors ahead of time. So now I'm going in and I'm just reinforcing that marker, and these pencils glide beautifully over that marker, and you don't have to worry about the white of the paper showing through the way if you were only using colored pencil, because the marker has filled that up already. And now you can just go in and really get some beautiful detail and not have to worry about the blending as much because the paper is covered with the marker. You're not seeing any of the little white specks of the paper showing through because that alcohol marker really does the job and covers it up without having to burnish or put any pressure on the pencils to ruin the tooth so you can't get your final details. As you can see, these M&Ms are already looking pretty three-dimensional because I've added that shadow in. So they really have a purpose on the page, and they really look like you could just reach out and grab one. I'm going in with a Jelly Roll pen, and I'm mapping out my preliminary highlighted areas with that so that I know where I need to put my darks when I juxtapose them against those bright white highlights. We've got some really good base layers down. Now we're just going to go in with our pencils and really start adding in all the little details. And one of the things about hyper-realistic drawing, especially on like a candy wrapper like this, is you really want to, nail the details. So we want to get that little M&M guy down. We want to get those M&Ms looking real like on the package. And we're just going to go and reinforce all of those colors. And we're going to, deepen everything up and really pop everything. So I'm going into the M&M writing part with a dark brown colored pencil. I'm not going to do the whole thing in the dark brown because I want some areas to be a little bit lighter and some to be a little bit darker where the bag is creased and there'll be a little bit of a shadow. I'm also not going to leave the white of the M&M part behind those words white. I'm going to go in with a little bit of gray so that you also can see a little bit of shadow where that bag creases. This is just going to reinforce the realism of the piece. You want to keep referring back to your reference image and pay a good amount of attention to where the light is coming from so that you know where those shadows need to be and where the highlights need to be. So you want to really pay attention to that reference photo and then go in and really push your values. You want to use all your full range of values. You want to have everything from dark to light and everything in between. So pay attention to where those little striations are on the wrapper ends, and you want to make sure that you get those in. You want to make sure where the bag creases that you're going to have some shadow areas and some a little bit lighter areas. And the devil's in the details at this stage. I'm going to go in with some more bright highlights, and I'm putting those little M's on the M&Ms, and then I'm going to glaze over them in some colored pencil. I don't want them glaring. I want them to look like they're actually on a real M&M. And they're not glaring white on a real M&M. So now I'm going in with some gray, and I'm doing some of the white parts, adding a little bit of gray so it looks like the bag has a little bit of shadow. And this just adds to the realism of the piece. And then I'm just reinforcing those white crease marks that are reflecting the light with an acrylic or jelly roll pen. If you want to up your art game, you can hop on over to my Patreon page. I'll put a link in the description box below. There's where I give you the full-length tutorial. If something takes me 3 hours, the video is going to be 3 hours long, not skipping any important steps. You'll have a good clear voiceover by me. I give you the sketch outline to start from, the materials list, and several reference photos for each of the projects that I have on there. So go ahead and hop over there and check that out. For a small monthly fee, you might want to draw with me and come out with a beautiful project every month. We're just refining and defining at this stage in the game. We're just going through and making sure that we have our good representation of all our values, making sure everything is blended smoothly, all your color pencil is blended together, and you don't have any, sketchy looking marks. Refine your words, make them a little more clear, and go in and just reinforce all those shadows and all those highlights. And as we get towards the end of the video, you can just, refer back to that reference image, step away from it, look at it, and see what you need to do. You need to keep pushing your values and take it as far as you can take it. A lot of people quit too soon. I never really have a hard time figuring out when it's done. Usually I've exhausted all of my resources and I've gone in and I have quite sufficiently placed everything where it needs to be. You don't want to overwork your drawing, but you don't want to underdo it either. You want to have enough of those details and enough of your values in there to really come out with a beautiful, hyper-realistic drawing. Every drawing is an opportunity to learn something new, fix your mistakes, and always finish your work. I'd love it if you guys would smash that like button, consider subscribing to my channel, and leaving me a comment below, even if it's just to say great job, or if there's something that you'd like to see, or a medium you'd like me to cover. I'm really happy to talk to all of you in that comment box below. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me today. I enjoyed doing this for you guys, and happy art.